Well, remember I was telling you that I wanted to fix this piece down here, this lower valance, because it was a factory original OEM piece. You know, it was only dented in the corner in this section right here. Well, I was straightening it out, and then I went into the car because I found a box right here, and I thought that that was actually the grill. But when I opened up the box, it happened to be a brand new lower valance.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Which happens to be right here. So since we already have the lower valance and it's a brand new item, even though I told the owner that we should go ahead and reuse all the factory metal that we can, since we've already got this, if I can get it unhooked, we're going to go ahead and put this on the car, is what we're going to do to see how it fits. Now remember, keep in mind, this is an aftermarket part. This part is approximately 10 years old, so we're going to see how it fits on there. It's actually very heavy. It's heavy steel, and I like the way that it's built. It doesn't feel cheap, if you know what I mean. So I was taking this off, and we ran into a situation. The situation is that this bolt over here is rusted together. Now, I dismantled this whole car when we had it media blasted. So I know I put this piece back on here, but for some odd reason, it is really on there tight. And one of the clips broke on our bolt. And the only way that we're going to be able to get that off is we're going to have to take a sawzall, or should I say an air saw, and we're going to have to cut that bolt in half. I really don't want to do that, but that's the only situation that I can see to get this thing off. And this is actually a pain in the ass to do this, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, this ain't going to work in here. Okay, that won't work. I thought the gap was big enough where that saw blade will fit in there, but it won't. So now what I got to do is I got to get my my cutoff wheel, and I got to get in here and cut the head of this bolt off so I can get this piece of shit off of here. Talk about a pain in the ass. That's how it is working on these old cars. If only the customers would realize that and you know, want to get this shit done a lot faster than I do. If only they would do that. Yeah, real fucking pain in the ass. Real pain in the ass. Okay, yeah. There you go, bitch. All right. There's that. I didn't really realize how big of a heavy duty of a piece this actually is. This thing is actually a very, very big, heavy piece of metal we got going here. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I think we're going to go ahead and keep that and use it. Like I was telling you earlier, I told the owner, don't buy one. We don't need one of those. Let's go ahead and use the factory one. Well, I got the factory one straightened out really, really nice. But you know what? This was already in the car. We bought it with the car when we bought the car. Let's go ahead and use it so my friend Pete can get down the road and get done with this piece of shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean piece of shit. I didn't mean to say that. Did I say that? I didn't mean to. Okay? I didn't mean to say that. Now it's day 2 on the bodywork over here. We finally got the quarter panel. Well, I got a little bit more to do. About 10 more minutes of work on the quarter panel. We got our door done. What we're working on now, of course, is our fender. I went ahead and cut the rust out. All right, this was where our rust was. I painted the metal inside with Port 15, so that's done. And then what I did is I made a pattern. All right, I made a pattern, and I'm getting ready to cut that out. So we're working on the car, and we're getting the car done, and everything seems to be working out pretty good. I don't know what to say. You know, I'm kind of speechless over here about the situation. I should be excited. I should be excited, and I should be exasperated with getting this done, but I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I wish it was gone 7 years ago. And that's what we're talking about here. That's the situation you fall into when you're dealing with situations like this. This doesn't make me happy. I'm not happy, okay? Why would I be happy? I would have been happy if the car would have been done 7 years ago and I got paid. That's what, you know, I needed the money 7 years ago to pay bills.
Well, my God, so bitch, how the hell's going on out there? This is Sammy Slim, straight out of Miami. You got it right here, in Southwest Ronson Customs. I don't want to be here, but I'm here. I'm working. I'm doing what I got to do. Why the hell does this guy got to complain all the time, bitch? Holler and scream all the time. He's just a bitcher is what he is. I didn't say picture, I said bitcher. Son of a bitch, look at that beautiful hat. I just love that hat. Because that's my hat. And this hat represents only one thing. Happiness, you bastards. Let's all get it straight. Let's do it right and get it done. That's what he says to do anyway, my friend Pete. Your friend Pete. He ain't my friend. He's a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. Won't give me my slits, my liquor. Won't give me nothing but a hard time. Now he's on the video complaining again. He's the one that wanted to store the son of a bitch for the guy. He's the one that said, let's store it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And when you get ready, we'll go ahead and do it right. He's doing a beautiful job on the thing, but if he just shut his big mouth, he'd be better off shutting up and zipping it up and doing it the right way instead of complaining. Do you know how hard it is? Sammy Salami right here. Do you know how hard it is not to be in Miami right now and editizing these ridiculous bullshit videos that he gives me to editize of him sitting on his ass and complaining? Do you know what that's like? Is what I'm asking you, people. Stick with Sammy Salami. Do the right thing. And provide yourself with an out, not an in. Don't give me the square round deal when I want the square, people. Do me a round. No, don't do me a round. You got me confused, you cocksucker. That's what this guy does, my friend Pete. He confuses you to the point of boiling temperatures of hell. No, I want to get to Miami. I want to be there right now. Let's get back to that video and let's see what's going on with my friend Pete. And hopefully he can get this job done and do it right, because that's the way he does it, is do it right. He's not a fuck around guy. He's a square guy. He's a guy that's going to help you out. But in the meantime, he's going to bitch and complain about it a lot.
You that would have been nice. That would have been nice 7 years ago instead of robbing from Peter to pay Paul because, I'm working on cars and customers don't have the money to pay me or go forward with the projects. You see, that's where it all starts when you're in business for yourself. When you're working on a car and the owner of the car doesn't have the money. And then what happens? You rob from Peter to pay Paul. Hey, Peter, can I get $1,000 cash from you? No, I'm not working on your car. I'm getting ready to start working on it. I need to get 1,000. Okay, yeah, get that in the mail. Hey, Paul, I got your money. Hey, George, let me bust this out so I can get some money from him. And then that way, I haven't worked on Peter's car yet, but George's car, I could do some real quick work. I get a $500 from him. Oh, what about Larry? His car, it's out in the back. He ain't got no money. He's the one that started the whole situation. Larry's the guy that started it. So we got Larry, we got George, and then we got Peter and Paul. How many more people are we going to stack up on the list to put in line that says, I'm robbing from Peter to pay Paul because George won't pay me and Larry doesn't have enough money and I'm working on this car instead of that car. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. Because you own your own small business. So, it's Sunday today. How you doing? Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Fuck Off New Year era, huh? Right, Sunday, working my fucking ass off on Sunday to pay bills on a car that should have been done 7 years ago. I know what you're saying. You're saying, why are you bitching and complaining? You're doing the job now. The work's getting done now. Why are you whining and crying? Because I actually have work now that I could be working on somebody else's car now and getting that car done. Or possibly maybe bringing over a car that somebody wants me to bring here that's been waiting for 7 years. What I'll do is I will paint the back of this with some rust inhibitor paint. And then hopefully, yeah, that'll fit right in there. Look at that, guys. Look what we got. Look at there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's rust repair, sir. Rust repair 101. You just learned how to do it. I just showed you. Yeah, showed you how to do it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. All right? I'm going to go ahead and get my welder out, and I'm going to weld that in. And then we're going to grind it down, and then we'll do the bodywork to it. And wow, it's done. It's done. Did I tell you rust isn't part of the bodywork? That rust repair is extra? I think I already told you that. Yeah, that's right. know what? We're about that close to having all the bodywork done on this side of the car. This is the last of it right here. Now what I did, I just broke it down with my Mini Hutchins air file. And if you don't have one of these tools, you need to get one. This is a very, very, very good asset to have doing paint and body work. How much was this thing? Very expensive. I probably had it for over 30 years and it still works like brand new. You take care of your tools are going to take care of you, and you're going to make money with them. You never ever lose when it comes to buying a tool, especially when you're in business, because after the first or second job, it pays for itself. Anyway, enough advertisement for them. What we got here is we got our bodywork on this side of the car done. Let's go ahead and take a look at that and see what it took to get her done and do it right, do it right, do it right, because we ain't doing it wrong over here. So on the right side of the car, the bodywork wasn't really that bad. The worst part was our quarter panel. The owner was suggesting that we replace the quarter panel, if I remember right. I said, no, let's save some money. We don't need to replace it. We had a situation right here. This body line was in real bad shape, but I went ahead and pulled it out, finessed it out, straightened it out. And then, of course, right here was our patch panel that we replaced that was rotted and rusted. Inside, and you can go back into my videos and look at that, inside we had to replace some rotten rust that was inside there as well. So that's a very, very good video to watch. I'll leave the link down in the description so you can grab that video to watch it if you want to. We had our corner here. It got wrecked. Somebody rammed into it or they backed the car into it. And I took my cutting torch and my slide hammer with a big hook and I pulled that corner out, and then I welded all the holes up, and then hammer and dollied it, of course, when we did the body work, and it came out really good. So the quarter panel was in real bad shape, but I got it all rigged up. Now what I was working on right here is the upper part where the quarter panel meets the roof. Now one thing right in that area you'd want to be very careful of, if you don't replace the quarter panel, and even over here you can see where we replaced the quarter panel, I didn't go all the way up here. I went right to here. I don't like going up in this area if I don't have to. That's less work, it's less aggravation, and I replace them down here if it's not rotted up there. And the reason for that is because underneath this skim coat is your lead. There's lead in there, so if you strip your car, don't remove the lead. Leave the lead in there and leave it alone. And then all you gotta do is just put a skim coat of Bondo or polyester filler on it like I did here. And all I gotta do to this right here is block sand it by hand and it's done. If you take the lead out, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to use Dynaglass, you're gonna have to use Bondo, and it's gonna be a big, big nightmare. And if you look at our Mercedes, just for an example, you can see I replaced this quarter panel, the whole thing, all the way up into the roof line. Now, of course, we couldn't put lead in there, and I can't grind this out to show you, but to fix this took a very long time, a lot more time than if we would not have replaced the quarter panel, and it's just a real nightmare. So be careful when you do that. And you can see right here on this side of the Mercedes-Benz that I left the lead in there, okay, and all we did is feather all that out. So be careful. If you come across that situation and you're restoring an old car, don't take the lead out. I get emails all the time that says, hey, I want to remove that lead. How do I do it? What's the best way? Don't do it. Leave it alone. You don't need to take it out, bitch. There's nothing wrong with it. It's there. The Bondo will stick to it. Your overcoat will stick to it. Everything will stick to it. Leave the shit alone. Go down the road. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's a done deal, bitch. All right, now that we got that over with, you can see the damage that was on the door. The door was in super, super clean shape. All we got are door dings, and basically we had one little dent over here. I don't know what happened there, but that was our biggest situation on the door. And then, of course, on these Camaros, they always get dents and dings on that body line. Every time, I don't care what happens, the body line gets a ding and a dent, and that's just life. So you can see we had to do a little finessing on that as well. We got over here to the fender, and what did we find, guys? We found some rust. Hello, hello. Rust, that's right. Found some rust. We went ahead and we fixed that rust. I showed you what I did to it. I didn't go into the welding. I didn't go into the grinding. But I showed you that I fixed it, bitch. Let's leave it at that. And then we found out there was something really funky going on in this area. I don't know if you remember, but I had a question mark there. And so what I did is I took my dent puller and I pulled that out and I hammer and dollied it. And then we went ahead and bonded it up and everything worked out great. So that's fixed. That was a big issue on that front fender. Another thing that we did, this was a 6-cylinder. And right here on the fender, this is where our Camaro emblem goes. And then down here, I believe the 6-cylinder in the Camaro was a 231. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment below. Let my friend Pete know that I just stuck it up in my ass, or I'm telling the truth here. I don't know. I think it was a 231 6-cylinder. But there was a little emblem here, and it had kind of like a red and white and blue flag situation. It said 231 on the top. We took that off. We welded the holes up. Actually, it didn't even have it on there. I just know from professional experience that that's what's there. But I know we're not going to put that back on, so I welded the 3 holes up, and then we went ahead and finished it out with some polyester, and it came out good. The front of this fender was really screwed up, guys. The front of that fender was almost as bad as the back of the rear quarter panel. I took my heat. I showed you where I did that. We heated that up. We pulled it out with our slide hammer, and we used our body hammers and got it all pulled out, and it really came out nice, and we were able to save the factory OEM fender for this vehicle, which is awesome. Speaking of factory parts, I want to go ahead and show you something. A lot of people look at these muscle cars and they say they're awesome. Well, I want to show you, this is from the factory, okay? This is a factory deal, and I'm going to show you some imperfections that are from the factory of this car that you probably would have never even noticed. So the first thing we're going to look at on this situation here of factory OEM crap is we're going to look at the gap. Look at the gap on this fender up here. Here's my thumb, and then I'm going to come down, okay, and you can kind of see how the gap gets smaller as we go down. So that's a factory gap. Another thing that's factory on this, and we got to do a little bit of adjusting on this. It's just bolted on, but look at this situation here, how the door, okay, is not flush mounted with the fender. All right, that's how they came from the factory, guys. That's it. This would stick out, or the door would stick out a little bit, and that was factory fit. That was it. Another thing we're going to look at, we're still working on our door area. The gap on this door, I want everybody to look at this. This is a factory gap. Okay, nothing has been manipulated, nothing has been touched or fussled with. One more thing, I have never removed this door. This door has never been off this car. And I'm going to show you something here. Let me get that header panel out of the way real quick. I don't want to dent that anymore. All right, so I'm going to show you something. And this is what's really nice about this car. Did you guys just see that? I just barely shut it and it shut perfect. But the deal is, from the factory, look at this body line. Look how that body line is. Look how close it is right here. But then we got a gap here, and then we come down here and it starts about here and it goes down and gets bigger. So that's basically what you're getting from the factory. When they built these cars from the factory, when this car was built, I'm just going to let you know one more thing. The factory's intentions were never to restore these cars. The only thing the factory wanted to do is pump them out off the assembly line and sell them to you, the consumer. As far as restoring this car and it being a collector's item, General Motors pretty much didn't give a shit, and that goes for Ford and Mopar and Dodge and Chrysler and every other manufacturer, because they don't care if you restore the car. They just want to sell as many cars as they can and make as much money as possible in the process of doing so. So, you know, that's one thing about, You know, when you get a factory OEM car and it's got all the factory specs on it and all the factory sheet metal, in my opinion, this car, this is just my opinion, this car is worth more money and has more character to it because of all the factory lines and all the factory gaps than a car that somebody would spend $100,000 on to make it meticulously, flawlessly perfect. That's just my opinion. I like these kind of cars where they're all factory sheet metal and you haven't really done anything to it but restore the car versus let's say a Barrett Jackson $2 million Camaro. I don't agree with that. I think it's bullshit, and that's just me, myself, and I telling you my opinion. And there's only two pieces of sheet metal on this whole car that are aftermarket, and that's this piece here and this rear quarter panel. That makes this car very, very rare, and the older it gets, the more valuable this car will be due to that fact. And I believe by documenting these videos, by filming these videos of these cars, just like our Mercedes over here, by doing that, I am actually helping history be created by explaining and showing people what it takes to actually do this instead of the $6 million, the $150,000 million shop that's got every tool in the world in it and 700 fucking employees. I'm by myself, I'm doing this by myself, and I'm getting it done by myself, bitch. So we got the Camaro on the ground. I went ahead and took this upper header panel off, this upper tie panel. And the reason I did is because here's another factory screw up, and I wish I would have showed this to you. Underneath this, if you notice, it's on both sides. Okay? And what the deal is when they put that header panel on here, from the factory, they would come in from the back side over here, and then they would suck the bolts on it. And when they suck those bolts to that header panel, what would happen, it would get a little dip right here. They would get a little dip on each one of these right there above where these holes are, because they were sucking that together and it was shrinking that metal. And that's a common thing on these, but that was a factory screw up too. But I'm gonna go ahead and finesse that up and fix that the best I can, because when the car's painted, you can actually see the waves in this, the way the light hits it on top of the fenders. Now, the hood, I'm going to save the hood. This is a factory OEM hood. This is the original hood, but right here in this area, it's damaged. You can't see it, but it's damaged pretty bad. So I'm going to fix this hood. I want to fix this hood because I want to use all the factory original sheet metal. I had to have this soda blasted. I had this hood soda blasted, I had the tie bar soda blasted, I had the trunk lid soda blasted. The rest of the car was dustless blasting. Now, at the time that we had the car dustless blasted, it was a fiasco and it was a nightmare. And I believe that was due to the idiot that was doing it. It took him 2 days, 2.5 days to blast this car, and it was just a big, big nightmare. It took us 2 weeks to prep it up and put it in epoxy primer like you see it now. But the car's been sitting for approximately 3 years maybe. And I mean, you can see where I've done body work and I have sanded the epoxy primer off, and I mean, the metal is super clean on this. So it's dustless blasting, a bad thing to do. After working on this car, after sitting for 3 years, I'm starting to think that dustless blasting is almost as good as soda blasting. The only thing is, it's a very, very, very big mess to have it done. So let me get my shop clean. We're gonna turn this car around. We're gonna start on the other side now. We do got some damage in the back here. And when I do this side over here, I'll go ahead and get this. This is where we replaced this section right here. And you can go back in my video set and check that out. But that was a big mess right there. That whole corner was totaled, the whole corner. But it really, really came out good. Actually, the whole job on this Camaro is really turning out to be an awesome car. The deck lid on this car is kind of jacked up, but we're gonna fix it too. Kind of like our Mercedes over here. We got serious issues with that hood and that trunk lid, but a little time, a little finesse, a little, nurturing, you might say, and a little elbow grease is gonna get us far on both of these cars. And before you know, we're gonna have these things in primer, ready for paint. Ready for paint.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.